Hi, everyone. This is Joe. I'm going to give you an overview of Kurt Lewin's change theory. As Kurt Lewin once said, there is nothing so practical as a good theory. And his theory's been around for a long time. This model represents a very simple and practical model for understanding the change process. The process for Lewin was a change in creating a perception that change is needed, then moving toward a new desired level of behavior, and finally solidifying that new behavior as a norm. The model is still widely utilized today and is used as a basis for modern change models. So with that being said, there's basically three steps into Lewin's process of change. The first one being the unfreezing process, the second one being the changing process, and then the next being refreezing. So as I've stated, the unfreezing process is basically what we would say creating the perception that a change is needed in the environment. Before you could say cook a frozen meal, you would normally need to thaw it out. If you wanted, for example, to make a snow cone out of a block of ice, you would need to restructure the ice cube in some manner, either thawing it out or reshaping it or doing something, chopping the ice up. The same can be said about change. Before change can be implemented, it must go through an initial step of unfreezing the old beliefs that are ingrained in the current beliefs. Because many people will naturally resist change, the goal during the unfreezing stage is to create an awareness of the status quo or current level of acceptability and how it is hindering the organization or process in some way. Old behaviors, ways of thinking, processes, people, and organizational structures must be carefully examined to show employees how necessary a change is to maintain a competitive edge in the marketplace. The goal is to create, like I said, to create an awareness of how the current method is limiting the process in some way. The idea behind it all, the more we know about a change, the more we feel is necessary and urgent, the more motivated we are likely to be to accept the change. As we've been studying, communication is especially important during the unfreezing stage so employees can be informed about the imminent change getting ready to take place. The logic behind it, as like I said, is how it will better benefit each individual. The idea is that the more we know about a change, the more we feel it is necessary. So next we have the actual implementation phase or the changing phase. This basically is moving toward the new desired level of behavior. Now that we have unfrozen and made it imminent that change is going to take place, we can begin to move. Lewin recognized that change is a process where the organization must transition or move into a new state of being. This change step, or referred to as transitioning or moving, is marked by the implementation of the change. This is when the change becomes real, rather. It is also consequently when most people struggle with the new reality. It is a time marked with uncertainty, a lot of times fear, making it the hardest step to overcome. During the changing step, people begin to learn the new behaviors, processes, and ways of thinking. The more prepared they are for this step, the easier it is to complete. For this reason, education and communication, support, and time are critical for employees or individuals associated with the change. That they become familiar with the change. Like I said, to reiterate, change is a process that must be carefully planned and executed. Throughout this process, employees should be reminded the reasons for the change and how it will benefit them once it is fully implemented. So Lewin's final stage is what he referred to as freezing, but more commonly it's referred to as refreezing. And this is basically to solidify the new behavior as the norm. It's like reinforcing, stabilizing, and like I said, solidifying the new state after the change. A change is made to the organizational process, goals, structures, offerings or people, and are accepted and refrozen after you instill into them the new behaviors. You want to refreeze them as the new norm or the status quo. Now, Lewin found that refreezing step is especially important to ensure that people do not revert back to their old ways of thinking and doing things the way they used to be. Special efforts must be made to guarantee that the change is not lost. Rather, it needs to be cemented into the organization's culture and maintained as an acceptable way of thinking or doing. Positive rewards, acknowledgments of individual efforts are often used to reinforce the new state because it is believed that positively reinforcement behavior will likely be repeated. All right, as an example, to better understand the change theory, let's just try to consider the following scenario. Taking, for example, an electronic health record in place. Right now we got a charting system, paper charting system, and we want to implement an EHR. For example, let's say we got an employee here and that he is adamant about keep on doing things the way they used to be by paper charting. Our ultimate goal here is to transition over to something like this right here, an electronic system where we can look at a patient's records, we can look at their many visits, we can look at the imaging, we can look at a lot of different things, prescriptions we've written in the past. It's all compiled into one record. So in its basic form, the individual would have to be unfrozen by educating him on the benefits of the new EHR system and how much better off that they would be by embracing it. It will add more profits maybe to their take-home pay, could give them more time with their patients, etc. As previously stated, you will want to make if you want to make a new snow cone out of a block of ice, one must restructure the ice cube first. And then, according to Lewin, we input and implement the new HR system while constantly reinforcing to the individual the benefits of the new system, how their lives would be much more better off by embracing the new system. And once they embrace the new EHR system, then we would freeze them into that mentality. And then I come out as a happy camper. My references are right here. That's Lewin's change theory in a very basic form. Thank you very much.